Hare Krishna, Sanjay here, and if you have ever felt that you are not devoted enough, not spiritual enough, not good enough, today's scene is especially for you because today Krishna personally shows us the way. Chapter 12, Part 2 The Way of Devotion, Scenes 12.8 to 12.14. Let's step in together. Introduction Steps of the Heart. Scene The battlefield is still, the conches are silent. In the sacred pause after cosmic vision and surrender, Krishna now turns from revelation to relationship. The infinite speaks like a friend again, simple, direct, loving. Then Arjuna, calmer than ever, listens closely. The awe of divinity has given way to intimacy. Now Krishna begins to explain the path of living devotion, bhakti in practice, not just in philosophy. This part of the Gita is deeply personal, even tender. Krishna doesn't speak as the cosmic ruler or the destroyer of time. He speaks as the divine companion who knows human struggle. He gives Arjuna and all of us a step-by-step ladder of love. He says, if you can fix your mind entirely on me, do so. If you cannot, then practice remembering me through meditation. If you cannot meditate, then perform your duties as offerings. If even that is difficult, then simply surrender the fruits of your actions. No soul is excluded, no failure is final. Krishna meets the devotee wherever they stand. The teaching here is pure compassion, the democratization of spirituality. The divine doesn't demand the impossible, he invites participation. Every heart, no matter how distracted or wounded, can love. Every action, no matter how ordinary, can be sacred. Now, in today's world, this is revolutionary. Many feel unworthy of spirituality because life is busy, minds are restless, and perfection feels out of reach. Krishna's voice breaks that illusion. He tells us, it's not about doing everything right, it's about doing everything with love. You don't have to abandon your career, relationships, or duties. You only need to shift from ownership to offering. When you cook, drive, write, or care, do it with awareness that it serves the divine within and around you. This is Bhakti Yoga in daily life, practical spirituality, rooted in action and softened by love. Focus. The way of devotion is not escape but engagement. Every step from discipline to surrender is divine. The smallest act done with love becomes the highest yoga. Scene 12.8 Fix your mind on me. Scene Fix your mind on me alone, let your intellect dwell in me, thus you shall live in me hereafter without doubt. Then Krishna begins with the ideal. He invites Arjuna to immerse his entire being, mind, heart, and understanding in the divine. This is the pinnacle of bhakti, constant remembrance, where separation between devotee and God dissolves. To fix the mind doesn't mean forced concentration, it means natural absorption like a river merging into the sea. For Arjuna, it is the call to live not as a warrior struggling for outcome, but as a soul aligned with purpose. Now, in our world, this is the essence of mindfulness with a heart. True meditation is not sitting in stillness alone. It is carrying awareness through every moment in thought, word, and action. When the mind returns again and again to the divine, even amidst chaos, peace grows unshaken. Few can do this perfectly, and Krishna knows it. That's why he offers gradual steps, but he begins here reminding us of the goal, oneness through loving remembrance. Focus. Keep your inner compass fixed on the divine. The mind may wander, but the heart knows its home. Scene 12.9 If you cannot, then practice. Scene If you are unable to fix your mind steadily on me, then seek to reach me through constant practice of meditation. Then Krishna's tone is patient, kind. He understands the human mind, restless, distracted, easily overwhelmed. So he says, if you cannot yet rest your mind in me, practice. This is divine realism. Practice, abhyasa, bridges the gap between intention and steadiness. For Arjuna, this means regular remembrance through prayer, reflection, or song. Even failure is progress when the direction is right. Krishna doesn't demand perfect focus, he blesses persistence. Now, this verse is the antidote to spiritual guilt. In a distracted world, many feel unworthy when their minds wander in meditation. Krishna's message is liberating. Keep returning. The power lies not in never losing focus, but in always coming back. Practice means showing up daily, imperfectly, honestly. Over time, devotion becomes less effort and more flow. What starts as discipline becomes delight. Focus. Consistency matters more than intensity. Keep practicing love, the heart remembers what the mind forgets. Scene 12:10. If practice feels hard, then serve. Scene. If you cannot practice constant remembrance, then work for me, perform your actions for my sake, and you shall attain perfection. Then, Krishna now descends another step on the ladder of compassion. If meditation feels too abstract, let action become worship. Work, service, and duty can all be offerings when done in the spirit of devotion. For Arjuna, this is life changing. His role as a warrior is no longer worldly drudgery, but divine service. Every arrow shot for righteousness becomes a prayer. Every act done selflessly purifies the mind and brings him closer to God. Now, this is one of the most liberating teachings for modern life. You don't need to renounce your job or family to walk the spiritual path. Turning work into worship transforms everything. Serving with love, leading with integrity, creating with gratitude, these are modern forms of karma yoga. When ego steps aside, action becomes sacred. Focus. Don't escape your duties, sanctify them. Service with love is meditation in motion. Saint 12:11. If you cannot serve, then surrender. Scene. If you cannot even act for my sake, then surrender the fruits of all action to me with yourself subdued. Then, Krishna gives the final, gentlest step. If even devotion in action feels beyond reach, then simply release attachment to results. Do what you must, but let go of control. Offer success and failure alike to the divine. This teaching is the heart of Karma Yoga. You need not change your work, only your attitude. The shift from I am the doer to I am the instrument is liberation itself. Arjuna need not flee battle. He must fight without ownership. Now, in our lives, this step is both simple and profound. We strive endlessly, fearing loss and craving reward. Krishna offers relief. Do your best, surrender the rest. When you release the need to control outcomes, peace enters naturally. Even small acts done in surrender become sacred. Cooking, parenting, leading, helping all shine when offered with humility. Focus. When results no longer bind you, every act becomes prayer. Surrender is not giving up, it's giving to. Scene 12.12. From action to peace. Scene. Better indeed is knowledge than mere practice. Better than knowledge is meditation. Better still is renunciation of the fruit of action, for peace immediately follows renunciation. Then, Krishna now summarizes the steps of spiritual maturity, a graceful ascent of the soul. Practice, abhyasa, is good. Knowledge, jnana, is better. Meditation, dhyana, is deeper. But surrender, tyaga, letting go of outcomes, brings instant peace. He explains not to rank these steps as hierarchies, but to show evolution. Practice disciplines the mind, knowledge enlightens it, meditation centers it, and surrender frees it. Renunciation is not abandonment of work, but abandonment of anxiety. For Arjuna, this means that peace is not somewhere else, it begins where attachment ends. He can fight, lead, and act without losing his serenity if his heart no longer clings to results. Now, in our lives, this teaching is revolutionary. We chase perfection through learning, meditation, and performance. Yet Krishna says the real secret is release. When you surrender the obsession to control, the mind relaxes and joy arises naturally. Letting go is not failure, it's freedom. The artist who paints for love, not applause, the parent who gives without expectation, the worker who serves without greed, all taste this peace. Focus, the summit of all practice, is surrender. When you let go of results, peace descends like grace effortlessly. Scene 12:13. The heart of the true devotee. Scene. He who is free from malice toward all beings, friendly and compassionate, without possessiveness or pride, steady in pain and pleasure, and forgiving, that devotee is dear to me. Then Krishna now paints the portrait of his true devotee not in metaphysics but in human virtues. This is the shift from philosophy to embodiment. The real sign of devotion is not in ritual or belief but in behavior, kindness, humility, and forgiveness. Arjuna listens intently. He realizes that devotion is not only worship, it is character. Krishna does not say one who believes in me, but one who loves all. True devotion radiates through conduct, not proclamation. To be free of malice, to be kind in strength, humble in victory, patient in pain, this is yoga lived as love. Such a person carries the fragrance of God wherever they go. Now, in our divided world, this teaching feels like medicine. We often measure spirituality by the volume of prayers or depth of knowledge. Krishna measures it by the warmth of the heart. Compassion is the new intelligence. Forgiveness is the new strength. When you see all beings as children of the same divine, your life becomes worship in motion. The temple of such a devotee is not made of stone but of silence and service. Focus. Devotion is proven not by what you worship, but by how you love. The truest bhakta is kindness itself. Scene 12.14. Love that never wavers. Scene. Content, self-controlled, resolute with firm faith, dedicating mind and intellect to me, such a devotee is dear to me. Then, Krishna concludes this section with a soft but powerful declaration. The ideal devotee is not extraordinary in talent or status, but in steadiness. The world may shift, people may change, storms may come, but his devotion stays centered like a lamp in the windless place. This love is not dramatic, it is daily. It lives quietly, consistently, without demand for recognition. It's not the intensity of emotion, but the constancy of heart that makes one dear to Krishna. For Arjuna, this becomes the mirror of his own journey from confusion to composure, from restless questioning to peaceful faith. Now, this teaching is timeless. Modern life is restless, attention scatters, faith flickers. Krishna's words call us back to simplicity. Be content, self-controlled, faithful, and steady. The divine doesn't require miracles, only sincerity. Such devotion outlasts emotion. It turns prayer into presence, duty into delight, and belief into being. Focus. The truest love doesn't fluctuate, it abides. Devotion means being constant in the midst of change, anchored in trust, no matter the tide. Closing summary, the ladder of devotion. Scene. The battlefield fades into golden stillness. Arjuna sits quietly, not in despair as before, but in deep comprehension. Krishna's words are no longer commands, they are comfort, wisdom, and love intertwined. Then, through these verses, 12.8, 12.14, Krishna builds a sacred ladder that every seeker can climb. He begins with the ideal fix your mind entirely on me, 12.8. If that is difficult, practice remembering me, 12.9. If practice feels distant, work for me, 12.10. If even that feels out of reach, surrender the fruits of all work, 12.11. Then he crowns the teaching with character renounce attachment, 12.12. Live with kindness, 12.13. And remain steady in faith, 12.14. Krishna's genius lies not in philosophy alone but in compassion. He never demands, be perfect. He says, start where you are. Every soul, however distracted or flawed, can find its way back to love. Now, this is perhaps the most hopeful message for our time. The world today is filled with seekers who feel unworthy or overwhelmed, people juggling responsibilities, doubts, and distractions. Krishna meets us right there. He teaches that every sincere attempt, meditation, service, kindness, surrender is sacred. Spirituality isn't an escape from humanity, it's its flowering. You don't need special status to walk with God. Every act done with sincerity, a smile, a meal, a moment of patience, is devotion. In this chapter, Krishna redefines religion. It's not about belief systems, but about the state of your heart. The ultimate worship is inner stillness, outer compassion, and unwavering faith. When love matures into service and surrender, peace becomes natural. That peace, Krishna says, is not a gift after death, but a fragrance in life, the sign that you have already found Him. Focus. Begin anywhere, prayer, work, love, or letting go, but do it with sincerity. Devotion is not perfection, it's direction. When your heart turns toward the divine moves toward you, and that is yoga in its purest form. And that is where we step out for today. Wherever you are on this path, Krishna has already made room for you. You only have to take the next step. Until our next scene, Hare Krishna.